motorists just came over, pulled out a gun and sprayed bullets onto those attending that meeting, leading to the loss of lives of 3 people. So Bheki Cele will be undertaking a visit. He already is there and just speaking to officials there, and he'll then be visiting the families of those who've been affected by the shooting. And our reporter Simpiwe Makanya is there, and we cross over to him right now. Simpiwe, I see that the minister is already there. What can you tell us at this point?
Certainly, Simpiwe, a short while ago we saw the Police Minister General Bheki Cele being flanked by the National Deputy Police Minister as well as the Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizikodwa, arriving outside the school where the incident happened on Saturday. He's currently being briefed by the investigating team which is probing this incident. Simpiwe, the minister, is being briefed about what transpired, and we believe that thereafter we'll be able to engage the minister in terms of how far the investigations are with regards to this gruesome crime that transpired here. The involvement, Simpiwe, of the Deputy Minister of State Security, that's Mr. Zizikodwa, is quite telling in terms of how the government at national level is taking this particular incident. Of course, as I said earlier on, that the ANC in the province has not linked this killing to political violence, but of course investigations are underway. But of course also looking at how it transpired, many people are actually having a number of questions with regards to their safety, with regards to the issue of the local government elections now being around the corner. We are now going to have an opportunity to engage the minister just to get a sense of the situation on the ground and what the minister has been told so far. Let's listen in to the minister.
Sort of briefing that you got this morning, Minister. Over to you.
Well, we are here at Inanda. This is Section C, where we are, where the terrible thing happened, where we lost the life of 3 people, including quite elderly. One of the deceased, I'm told, is about 75. People that went to hospital are 70s and all that. Clearly the person that committed this terrible sin here was more on the intimidating the system rather than targeting a person or particular candidate, as you know that would be. So that's what the police need to find out, why is a group of those people who came here in that party and intimidate people. Was it proper, just pure criminalities? They were doing that on behalf of somebody. But for the fact that this was a political gathering, it is on that score that the investigation has been taken by the politically task team that is dealing with those things in KZN, and it will determine at the end of the day what was it. But for the fact that this was a political gathering, it has been handed over to the team led by General Kumalo that has been dealing with those things here. It looks like they've got their leads. You know that once you say so, we end there. The General, maybe Mkwanas will speak more. We're with the deputy ministers here of the JC cluster, the deputy minister police, deputy minister SSA. The matter is on the agenda of the JCPS cluster, but also is on the agenda of the preparation that will be led by the provincial commissioner, working on preventative and working on the days of elections going forward. Those are the matters that maybe provincial commissioner can explain further on those matters, because clearly, as you all know, it's not just here in KZN. Though the death has been here, there are a lot of problems in Gauteng, especially Tswana areas. Last Friday we had some problems in Western Cape, especially Ekukuletu, where there was some form of people locked in the house. We had to go and release those people. So is an issue that is very linked on the elections, but also should be an understanding, especially here, that we are high on crime here. So it could be the combination of two, that the criminals are finding a new space in the political space. So those are the things that we need to look at as we investigate.
Minister Simphiwe Makanya from the SABC.
Before you go, the DM of State Security would like to also have some opening remarks, please.
No, like the Minister said, this is nothing else but an act of intimidation. It's an attack to the Constitution. It's an attack to the democratic order. It's an attack to the Constitution because these are the people who are exercising their right in terms of the Constitution to elect a leader of their choice and to participate in the elections, which will strengthen democracy. So the attack, like the Minister says, is nothing else but meant to weaken the system of democracy. And we would like to make that call on behalf of the JCPS, that perhaps, as we have seen, as we're working over the weekend in areas such as Western Cape and Tshwane, would want to encourage our people not to be intimidated by these incidents. The JCPS will be working out a plan to make sure that we protect these elections. We're not just protecting political parties, but we're protecting the system. Because it's important that we must guide the system against this act of intimidation. It's unfortunate that people who come in here to exercise as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Republic, they lost their lives. So it's a responsibility of the JCPS to make sure that such intimidations at the end of the day do not trump over Constitution. We must protect the Constitution and protect our democracy.
Thank you very much, DM. Colleagues, let's open up to some questions. SABC, you did have a pressing question, I believe. You can go ahead.
Minister, thanks. It's Simphiwe again from the SABC. Should ordinary South Africans, Minister, be worried by this incident as we head to the local government elections?
Well, it's exactly what Deputy Minister is saying, that this is an attack to the democracy, so you need to intimidate the people that are practicing that democracy. We're saying, as the JCPS cluster, especially the police and I guess the state security, is exactly what we need to stop. Is exactly what I said as we're dealing with the plans, the provincial commissioner here and other provincial commissioners that we have spoken to. I spoke to both of them, the Western Cape and the Gauteng. The KZN one is here. We are saying we're pushing back on that. People must continue to practice their democratic right, as these agencies will work hard that we don't have the further loss of life, and we limit the disruptions, and we chase and we check those people, we find them and we put them out of the system in terms of arresting them, so that people, they continue to go practice their democratic right.
Minister, on your left, Newsroom Africa.
Minister, a question. As you try and secure elections going forward, do you have enough numbers in terms of police officers to be deployed on the ground across KZN, and do you have the budget to do this, especially because we anticipate further political violence?
Well, fortunately, we still have the army that has not been called back to the bases. The provincial commissioner, together with the national commissioner, on those specific places, 3 provinces that we have mentioned. You know that SANDF are still here. That will be Gauteng. If we need them in Western Cape, there will be. Budget will have to be found. Elections, you can't compromise on that one. We believe that we are working on that. We have made our budget known through the National Commissioner and the CFO, and that is presented to the Cabinet and the Treasurer to say this is the amount of money we need to run the elections.
All right, show of hands. Any more hands? Okay, we've got... okay, go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
So, Minister, are there any threat assessment ahead of the local government elections?
Let's also just introduce ourselves so that the minister knows who we're talking about. Go ahead.
Okay. Maybe he...
No, we do time to time working with the law enforcement agencies. That's why I said our overall responsibility at the moment is to protect these elections, because when we do so, we're protecting the system, which we think there's a very clear, orchestrated by criminality, want to intimidate. And I don't think we must elevate this criminality as though there's a threat to the election themselves. But there are elements and pockets, like we're working over the weekend, that we want to isolate those criminal elements. But most importantly, we want to make sure that we assure our people that these elections will be safe. If there are elements that continue to intimidate, those elements will be dealt with by law enforcement agencies.
But we were briefed, as he says, especially on the crime intelligence here. We know those pockets, and we'll be working towards dealing with those pockets. Necessarily, maybe before these things happened, we respond. But when these things happen, they are prevented, and make sure that people are given space to go and vote.
We've got a question at the back, Minister. Go ahead, my sister.
Minister, I'm Nongula Washafa from SABC News. Can you please give us the updates on the instigators on the July unrest and the arrest, if there are others that are still after?
I'm sure you know the very famous one is Piti Piti. Everybody knows this Piti Piti. We will stick with the number up to this point. There are 18 of those people that have been arrested, including Piti Piti, including Unkinga. Piti Piti is also known as Afro Soul. The other one is known as Instigator. They are appearing. The Instigator is appearing is the one in Maritzburg. Piti Piti is the KZN one, but based in Gauteng. 18, I think we're doing well there. The police dealing with us is not. It has not ended. The investigations are continuing, and we expect to pick more people on that one.
All right, let's bring this press conference to a close. The last two questions, my brother, go ahead, and then you've got one SABC. Go ahead, brother.
Sakiseni Malo from the Mercury newspaper. Minister, regarding Umla's shooting, you mentioned that the police have got the lead with regard to arrest on that matter. Just want to find out the updates 2 weeks or a week after that. Has there been any arrest on that matter, or maybe are the police aging closer to making arrest on the matter?
Definitely no arrest at the present moment. Those people that are dead there are 12 now. There are 6 on the first scene, 6 on the second scene. We've got a very specific name when it comes to your section now. We were looking for somebody. There are teams that are specifically dedicated to work there 24 hours. That's why we were saying we have a specific name there. At the second scene, at WO, we're having the people of interest, 5 of them, because we know now that one person that was killed there was a witness in a certain case. So that could have been the lead. So we would know whom then do we want. That's why we have the people of interest there on the second scene.
On a side issue, Minister Simpwe Makanya from the SABC again. With regards to the Firearms Controls Amendment Bill, Minister, are you not concerned about the delays in bringing this matter before Parliament?
Well, democracy is expensive, is slow and all that. If we have said to people, give us your responses, give us your ideas, what you think of it, and they go to almost 130,000 of them, we'll have to process them. The Secretariat will be processing those that are for, those that are against, or any other suggestions which are not for, which are not against. And then we'll begin then to go back and put the system on the roll. But it's not necessarily to say that we're not doing it. Indeed, making laws, especially controversial and highly contested laws like this one, will take some time, because you need to comb it. You need to make sure that everybody is satisfied. The time it passes, goes to the Constitutional Court, it should not be found wanting there. So it's important to be thorough doing it.
Minister, let's go back to what we came here for. Could we please have a soundbite in isiZulu, please?
Sizela emphakathini waseNanda ngenhlekelele esivelele la kubulawe khona abantu abathathu kwalinyazwa nabanye okusiphatha kabi ukuthi abantu abalinyaziwe abantu abakhulile njengokutholakala ukuthi omunye osilahlekele cishe uneminyaka ewu75 nabanye abayesibhedlela bala ko70 lesi senzo asibonakala ukuthi kunomuntu obeqondiwe esokusabisa ukuthi abantu bangangeni egiyeni lokuthi beze kuma elections yilokho ke sikubizayo ukuthi kuzofanele samaphoyisa sisebenzisane nemphakathi ukuthi isimo sivuleleke ukuthi abantu bahambe bayokwenza kufanele bakwenze ngokusekelwa umthetho sisekelo wezwe bakwazi ukuthi bayovota amaphoyisa kulungiselela ke lokho kusuka manje ithimba leli la uma deputy minister no minister babonayo mabephindela kwi cluster yabo indaba ephezulu kwetafula ezohamba iye kuma provincial commission kakhulu mathathu la nama provinces acisha sinike lenkinga eGauteng iWestern Cape bese kuba nala KZN ekakhulu eThekwini sithemba ukuthi sokwazi ukukulungisa lokho njengoba sisebenzela ukuthi sikwazi ukuvimba ukuthi izimo ezinjengalezi zingenzeki leli ndaba yala sinike leli thimba libhekene nokufa kwabantu kwezepolitiki ngoba kwenzeke emcimbini wepolitiki esolayo ukuthi kungasiza ukuthi kube lelo thimba elikwazi kuyilandela lolo daba basithembisa ukuthi khona ukunuka santungwana mhlamba sizokusho njengamanje sithi ukulinda sibheke ukuthi bathathe isikhathi singakanani okwethu ukubacela ukuthi basheshise kwenzeke ukuthi nezinye igilamkhuba zazi ukuthi azikwazi ukuthi zenze into enjengalezi kodwa zihambe ziyophumula kuzofanele sikwazi ukusheshe siphendule samaphoyisa.
Minister, thank you very much. One last question.
A final question, Minister. You've described this as a criminal event, but as the police minister, are you also speaking to the ANC regarding the factional internal battles that is culminating in these kind of shootings as well?
Well, I'm the member of the NEC of the police. If these things are raised there, I'll speak to them there. But I can't speak as a member of the NEC here. But I know that ANC, NEC and branches, they are really seized with the situation. As I'm saying, that is not only here. We were in the NEC and we were in the Lekgotla of the ANC, and the leadership is seized with the matters.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, colleagues. We're off to the families' homes now.
Well, right there you have it, Simpiwe, the Minister of Police, General Bheki Cele, giving members of the media an update with regards to the investigations and also visiting the crime scene here behind me, which claimed the lives of 3 women and left 5 others seriously injured. The Minister saying that they are going to be working closely with the State Security Department as well in order to ensure that as we head to these elections, people do feel safe and of course they eliminate any form of threat that may arise, characterizing this incident in Piwe as an incident which was meant to intimidate people, because of course it was a political gathering, and of course the police saying that they are going to leave no stone unturned in ensuring that those who committed this heinous crime are brought to books in Piwe.
All right, to Simpiwe, I'm going to let you go as you possibly will be following the minister as we'll be visiting the homes and the families of those who've been killed. Thank you so much for that update. That was our reporter there, Simpiwe Makanya, speaking to us live from Inanda, wherein Police Minister Bheki Cele has just addressed the media and saying that, this is an intimidation of the system, and was also flanked by the Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizikodwa, who also said that this was, an assault on the Constitution because people have been robbed of their constitutional right to vote. So we'll be definitely crossing back to Simpiwe in a moment as soon as they visit the homes of the affected families. But for now, and from Inanda,